Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by REC Comics and Collectibles. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me as always,
Erik Icarus.
Eric.
What's up, dude?
You can find us on the gram at the REC Podcast. You can follow myself at Roman REC Podcast, and you can follow the shop at REC Comics. We do a little selling there. We have a nice storefront at 7679 North Union Boulevard in Colorado Springs, Colorado. How are you doing, my friend?
Good, man.
Man, I cannot shake this cough. I don't have the COVID, ladies and gentlemen, but I do got some phlegm going on, and I apologize for that. So please bear with me as I cough into this mic a lot. Man, we had quite the week, I would say.
Yeah.
A lot of entertainment news happening, and we saw a few things.
Mm-hmm.
But right off the top of I would like to talk about the Matrix 4 trailer dropped.
Okay.
This was something that we knew was coming. I didn't realize how far along they were.
I didn't I just kind of honestly, I tell you the truth, I forgot about it.
Yeah, I did too. It just always kind of feels like Indiana Jones 5. You know, just like, oh yeah, it's coming. Yeah, you guys, don't you worry, it's coming. But they did a weird thing where like 2 days ago, they had like two 15-second clips basically explaining that there was going to be a trailer soon. And then the trailer actually dropped. We're going to talk spoilers in everything that we talk about today, guys. So, you know, hopefully you're caught up on all the most recent entertainment news. But, dude, I thought this trailer looked really awesome. It looks very different. It felt familiar, but it did feel kind of like a Matrix remix to me. And, you know, I don't think we had the title until this trailer, and it is The Matrix Resurrection.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Crazy. I guess one of the Wachowskis is returning.
Yeah, Lana.
Not both of them. Not just Lana.
Yeah.
Not really. Which I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Feel like it's kind of both of their babies, and I don't understand why they, one's involved and the other one's not involved.
I don't know.
It does look okay, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's missing. Maybe she's the missing piece. I don't know. We're gonna see the trailer. Like you said, it looks like a very remixed Matrix, like just giving us the hits.
Yeah.
And nothing. I didn't get anything substantial out of it. Like, oh wow, that's really blowing my mind.
Well, it's a good teaser. It got me wanting more. It
but
looked
if you
cool.
compare it to the other Matrix teasers, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Those other Matrix, like even the first Matrix, which again we didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So it
okay.
had that going for it.
I see what you're saying.
But
the feeling of like, what is the Matrix?
Right.
You know.
And then even in the what was the second one?
Reloaded.
Even that had a cool little teaser. Going back to like oh, Agent Smith's back. Oh wow, giving us a little something there. And then even the cursed third one had a cool teaser with opening up with Morpheus talking and talking about fate and stuff like that. Oh, where are they going with this? And this one I didn't get any of that. Dude.
Yeah.
It seemed like kind of just a lot of fan service. And I feel like if you're going to take that much time off from a franchise, you should have enough time to adapt something new into your franchise, not just like, oh, here's some kung fu in leather. Here's some Keanu stunts for you. No Larry Fishburne, which I'm pretty bummed about.
Yeah, it's strange. The guy from Lovecraft Country, or not Lovecraft Country. He was Black Manta, and he was in Watchmen. It looks like he's like in this Morpheus-like role.
Right.
So, I don't know what's going on. It's obvious that Neo and Trinity have been plugged back into the Matrix, which there was always that fan theory of that there was like layers to the Matrix, that's why Neo was able to use his abilities outside of the Matrix.
Right. Which that would have solved a lot of problems if they had just... part of me thinks that was the story, but the fans figured it out, and the Wachowskis were like, we got to do something.
Yeah.
We got to do something new or develop another story so we can surprise them. But we all would have been okay with the fan theory.
Yeah.
It was very cool, but I think you're right. Maybe they are leaning more into like, okay, there's going to be more layers to this Matrix, and we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it doesn't have the budget that the other three, had. And I think a movie like this can really has a lot of benefits having a big budget.
Yeah.
It's a big budget action movie, and then obviously they're not going to get the funding that they used to get.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think people want it, and the fact that you've got Keanu Reeves there,
Sure.
I think, you know.
I mean, why would he turn it down? He did Bill and Ted.
Yeah, it's true.
He's not turning this down.
Yeah. You know, he's only doing things that he likes to do.
Yeah,
so,
which is good on you.
Yeah.
Love you, Keanu.
Yeah.
Man, you're not the problem here.
No, that's true. So at the very least, we know we're going to get good Keanu stuff. But I wonder if he exists further into the series, or if this is going to be his kind of the new class's jumping off point. You know, like he's just here to kind of springboard it, and then he is done after this one. I think there's a very real possibility.
I would totally be cool with that. Yeah. If that's where they're heading with this, I'm good with it. Kill off Neo. We don't need him anymore.
Oh.
We really don't.
Or just have a new Neo.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I say. Yeah, I like your idea. Like, have him go in there, and he gets these new upstarts, and he has to literally play the Jesus role and sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
So and he gets his apostles. See where this is going?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you could, and you just have him like, hey, I don't want to die and have my code be reassimilated in, and then it gets divvied up and all these. He's like, no, I'm just going to tell you guys what's happening.
Right.
We're not going to restart. You guys are going to continue the fight.
Right.
That would make sense.
Yes.
That would make sense.
If it doesn't have Rage Against the Machine at the end, I'm going to be bummed because they didn't do that in Revolutions.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the song in Revolutions?
It was none. They just ended with the score.
Oh,
yeah, because it was everyone was like, that's a bummer because of course
the first
one had Wake Up, and then the
Calm Like a Bomb.
Calm Like a Bomb for Reloaded.
Yeah.
So what's up with that?
I didn't know that. I never caught that.
Yeah.
We watched a movie.
We did.
We watched a movie. This is my first time, I think, watching a film in the theaters.
Long time.
Since before COVID started, since before March of 2020.
Yeah, it was last time I saw a movie, and it was Birds of Prey.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, February then for you, February 2020. We did kind of an event. We talked about it on the show here, where we took a bunch of our customers and their family and some of their friends, and we all went and watched Shang Chi.
We did.
Is it the Legend of the Ten Rings?
And the legend continues.
Okay, cool. And, well, we are going to talk some spoilers. I don't want to give away the entire, thing, because I do think you need to see it. So we are going to talk some spoilers, but hopefully we can tiptoe around some things.
Sure. I mean, there was nothing mind-blowing about the ending, really.
No. This was a very run-of-the-mill, episode 1 of the franchise.
Very Marvel.
Yeah, very Marvel.
Good origin story. Solid origin story.
Yeah, where it's like it's not perfect, but it is enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
I like the cast. I talked about that I was kind of done with Awkwafina. Actually, she was fine.
She was good.
She was very muted, like kind of more focused. I don't want to say muted. She was just kind of more focused.
Right.
Like she wasn't relying on her shtick to get her through this. She had a little bit of that, but I really enjoyed her Katie character. Mm-hmm. I like the friendship. I like the fact that Shang was just like this really nice, this nice young man.
And they sold it well.
They did sell it well.
That was like up into the bus scene, the first combat scene. We first official combat scene we get. He does sell the very mild mannered, working class gentleman well. Like he
parking cars.
Gets into an altercation on a bus, and even Katie, his female friend's like, does he look like he can fight?
Yeah,
and he plays he doesn't look like he can.
Yeah,
and throws down.
Once he turns it on, it's awesome. It's really awesome. A lot of the things that I talked about in my anticipation for the film, kind of wanting that kung fu fairy tale with the Marvel influence, I literally got exactly what I was hoping to get out of it. I got some Rumble in the Bronx feel into some of the fight scenes. Like, it wouldn't shock me if any of these fight choreographers were either big fans of Jackie Chan and his stunt team, or come out of that stunt team. It wouldn't shock me at all.
We get a lot of nods to different types of kung fu cinema. We even get a nod to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in there, which was beautiful. They did it well.
Yeah,
it was a good nod. It was a good nod.
I don't know if it was a nod to that specifically, or if it was just like just a nod to just Chinese kung fu cinema.
With dance fu. because that's what it's called.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, man. Cool, man.
And I mean, that was the opening thing, and I thought it was great.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Well shot. I mean, it did echo Crouching Tiger.
Well,
it echoed it pretty hard. I mean,
that type of thing is just used a lot.
Sure.
In the Kung Fu
but I think a lot
it's just
of
where
viewers
we know. Yeah, it's just like where we
are
know
going
it from.
to know. Yeah, get that reference.
Yeah,
and it looked amazing. They shot it very well.
Yeah, it was really strong.
And it was the only scene in that movie that looked like that.
Yeah, actually,
that was it. Just that one little piece, but. You gotta remember, the story is, they're telling the story with fighting, as an art form. So, of course, he's falling in love. So, of course, the fighting is going to be more nuanced and choreographed. And, then we get into more of the visceral stuff when it's, down to, him fighting to, for, his identity, which the movie does play to the identity.
Yeah.
A lot of, most Marvel movies are fathers and their children. You know what I mean? Most of these Marvel movies are about sins of the father, sins of the parents, basically. Yeah. This one is big time, too, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And what's your identity? Do you owe your family lineage anything?
Yeah.
Or do you carve out your own piece?
Yeah.
I think that this movie was asking a lot of those questions.
I think I think you're hitting it on the head there. And I think if I need to watch it again, because I definitely think I was swept away in the I was so happy that everybody showed.
Yeah, it was good.
So that was really fun. I hope you guys who watched the show and come into the shop enjoyed yourselves. And I think there was more positive energy going on there, because of that. I would like to watch it again, because as I reflect and think, I enjoyed the film, but it feels more Thor 1 than like Iron Man 1 in terms of like its significance,
right? And establishing a new character.
Yes.
But it's not groundbreaking in the sense that it's telling something like a brand new story.
Yeah.
We've seen the story, especially in the MCU, 22 times.
Yeah.
And at least where the origin stories are concerned, I felt like they did the Ten Rings justice, because I remember, watching it. Obviously, you're going to know it's not rings like you think. It's not the rings on the hand.
Yeah.
Which I was a little bummed.
I am bummed too.
But had it explained to me that, it's going to be more indicative of the culture to have the bands.
Yeah, there are like, the kind of the way of the Iron Fist. We see it in tons of different like Kung Fu movies, where the guy who usually has the Iron Fists, he usually has like bands or iron under his wraps.
Right.
So like having the rings be something that mirrors that. Did you ever see Kung Fu Hustle?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you remember the tailor in there? he had the shower rings, and then they were
oh my God.
yeah, like that was, I mean, I was dying. I saw somebody make a meme of that today too, and it was cracking me up. And it was like, the Legend of the Ten Rings, and it shows him doing his thing with his shirt all torn. Oh my gosh, it was great. But I think that the fairy tale aspect of it was great. I don't want to spoil Wen Wu's plan, because I did not see that coming.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we all did. I did. I saw it coming.
No. Like, that's not the story we thought it was going to be. Okay, screw it. We're going to talk about it. Spoilers, because I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
We're going to go all in on this, because it promotes discussion, because I saw that coming.
No. The story that we got about his father trying to free his mother.
Right.
That was not what we thought was going to be.
Right.
We thought that it was going to be Papa calling, you got to come home because you got to run the Ten Ring. Yeah.
Right.
That's what we thought was going to happen.
But it did, though. It did. He was kind of telling his son that, though. Like, you got to take your place here when your mother comes back.
Yeah.
Because, okay, real quick. So, Shang-Chi's father is hearing his dead mother, his dead wife call to him, like, come save me, come save me. And he's hearing her voice come from her homeland, which he was exiled from. So this particular place is very hard to get into.
Yeah.
So he spent years and years and years and decades trying to figure out how to get into this place.
Yeah.
Because they feels like they're keeping his wife's soul there, or her captive, not even her soul.
Yeah.
And, they figure out a way to get in there. You're right. I didn't see that part coming.
Yeah.
But as the second, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So it's a bit of a disappointment when it wasn't the mother. How cool would it have been if it was the mom as the villain? That would have been a twist I didn't see coming.
Sure.
Like, it really was, his wife and Shang-Chi's mother calling to him to, like, free her because she's been corrupted.
Yeah.
And that's why the village had to, like, take her and put her and hold her captive because she's been corrupted. And, and they're mad at him for like, you cannot free her. She is lost. And
Yeah.
the woman you knew is gone. And, and that would have added another layer to the movie as far as like acceptance. And, do you really know the people you know? And, is it easier to say goodbye than to like, have to, go trudge through the monotony of like, oh God, let's open up this fresh wound again.
The big problem in retrospect, thinking about the film, is that, and it's actually a kind of a compliment to how well the cast does, because they don't explain anything.
They really don't.
We don't know much about the rings.
No.
And they leave it in such a way
Pretty
that
ambiguous.
like we're going to, like, it's going to be part of the story. Like, oh, we need to figure out more about these rings without spoiling that, because I thought that was interesting.
That was interesting. Yeah, we won't say too much about that, but
And the they don't talk about that. We don't really get much more backstory on even like how how his organization became.
Right.
And I like the idea of the Ten Rings being like the League of Assassins.
Pretty much, yeah. They beat you to it again, DC.
Yep. Doing their own now. It doesn't even matter that the Ten Rings is never like this in the comics.
Right.
It's anytime that we see Ra's al Ghul next, and they are called the League of Assassins.
It's like, nah, you mean the Ten Rings?
Like we're always gonna get lost there.
Everybody in there again. We're gonna talk about the cast. I mean, I always forget her name. He played Shang Chi's sister.
Mm-hmm.
She was amazing.
Well, that was her. This is her first acting credit.
Okay, she's so good.
Yeah.
Like I love her. That's what I mean. She's so amazing in this too.
Yeah.
I thought, is she a fighter in real life? Because she looks like she knows what she's doing.
I mean,
she's competent, competent fighter.
I would need to do more research into that, but I saw somebody post her IMDb page, it's just the Shang-Chi credit.
Look at Marvel making stars, baby. We do get a reveal. I won't say who it is. You guys probably figure it out. But the person they end up revealing to be in there, the surprise character. You know what I mean? He was in Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah. They brought back.
Trevor. Okay, I'll just say
they brought back Trevor. And it was kind of.
It was cool because the father acknowledges.
Ben Kingsley.
The
Mandarin from Iron Man.
Yeah, he's like, they called me the Mandarin.
Yeah,
and it was, it was like an insult basically, and how it was kind of cool how they were saying that the Ten Rings was kind of responsible for world-changing things.
Yeah,
so I thought that was a good little nod, I guess. Actually, kind of bringing in the. Because a lot of people didn't like the Trevor twist in Iron Man 3. I thought it was funny. It was what it was. It was funny. I didn't see that coming.
Marvel spoiled this for me though, because they put on Disney Plus. They put the short "All Hail the King,"
right,
which was on might have been on Avengers: Age of Ultron. I think it was on Age of Ultron. But Marvel, for their Phase 1 movies, they all had these things called Marvel one shots in almost every one.
Cool.
And they were these 15-minute clips. And I mean, it's what launched Agent Carter, Haley Atwell's Agent Carter TV series. She had her own thing. Coulson's has his own. But then they did this All Hail the King, which had Ben Kingsley in prison after Iron Man 3. He's got some stardom and everything. And somebody's doing a documentary about him. Spoiler, it's actually the Ten Rings organization, and they're taking him out of prison because the real Mandarin wants to speak to him. So we get Ben Kingsley back, which I loved, but they just had him in there way too long.
He just needed to be in that
one spot.
Yeah, and that would have been okay.
Yes.
But then they introduced that cute, cuddly Groot character, if you will, in there.
The faceless thing, whatever. Yeah.
And I get it. You got to sell toys. I get it. But it just,
I
mean, that part was a little,
Yeah. There was some cringe in it, but I think overall they did a really good job of giving me something that I just did. This is not the Shang-Chi that I'm familiar with.
Me either.
And not that I'm overly familiar with Shang. Anytime I see him, it's usually with Iron Fist, with the Daughters of the Dragon.
Right.
I've rarely just been oh, I got to get this because Shang-Chi's in it.
Right.
If Shang-Chi's guest starring, I feel like they only put Shang-Chi in things when they have a cool idea, because he's one of the few of those 70s creations that doesn't have nearly the restarts that Luke and Iron Fist have.
Right.
Right?
It's true.
So when they do use that character, it's usually at least pretty interesting.
Oh, totally.
I liked it, but it is like I said, it's more Thor 1. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about the first 2 Thor movies. You like the characters, but how strong is the story? If you had that feeling about this, I wouldn't argue with you.
We're going to argue with you, but you got to remember it was everything what you wanted was in there fighting, a good
Yes.
solid character development.
Yes.
And that was important in an origin story.
Yes.
You got to establish these characters, who they are. They got to be memorable. And Shang-Chi's father, the gentleman who played him in it, and I'm sorry I'm forgetting your name, but you knocked it out of the park.
Dude, he was so good. He played Ip Man in The Grandmaster.
That's right. Yeah.
And he's excellent in there.
So
good. This felt like, and I mean this with the most respect, that you gave the head of a class a writing assignment, and that person, it was like, okay, I got to hit all these points. Right. Like they checked all the boxes. They really did. Yeah. They didn't try anything. I don't think
they didn't rock the boat.
No, it was nothing risky. It was just like, hey guys, this is, if you go to a Chinese restaurant, you get Kung Pao chicken. Like what you're gonna get.
You're gonna get the Mandarin chicken.
Yeah. Like this. They tried to give you something that was familiar,
right.
Like I said, with those callbacks to other things that we know.
Of course, we get a Wong cameo.
We get the Wong cameo. We did get verification that was the Abomination, because there was some discussion that it might be the human form of Fing Fang Foom.
Oh, I would have been cool with that.
Yeah.
But that was what's his name?
Yeah, because Wong actually says, I thought we agreed to take it easy, Emil.
Oh.
He says something like that. He calls him Emil, which Emil Blonsky is the...
So that was Abomination.
So that was straight up the Abomination. And apparently, in a spoiler for Black Widow people, okay, I haven't seen it yet, but my wife spoiled this for me, but she did tell me, that apparently in one of those like smaller rooms, when they're like in that like fight club, there's a Black Widow that was shown in the movie.
And she was in there.
Yeah, like one of the other widows.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and you saw her in there fighting.
Okay, cool. So, at least they're connecting these movies still.
I loved the connections. They were a tad ham-fisted. A
little bit.
But
especially
they were fun. One. Yeah, the Wong one. But I like the idea of Wong being that like, very uptight in the monastery, with the library. And the way he cuts loose is that he's in Fight Club.
Right. I guess that kind I
love that. I love that layer to this Wong.
Yeah, because he does play straight man well.
Yes,
and he plays your kind of crazy uncle a little well too, because that's who he was in this. It's like when you have your uncle who just he does finance on during the week, then you see him racing cars on the weekend. That's kind of what it is.
I saw a quote from Benedict Wong, and he was like, it's nice to not be the only Asian in the Marvel universe anymore. And then it shows Agent Wu, and he's like, am I a joke to you? Because Wu's also a magician too, remember?
That's very true.
He learned some stuff.
He did.
I think the movie was solid. I would give it a grade. If I'd give it a letter grade, I'd be in that B- range.
Yeah,
like a strong, like a really great C+, B-.
B-, yeah.
It's which, like I said, it is really fun. It's entertaining. Mm-hmm. It did so well because you never release a movie on Labor Day weekend. It is an industry no, but it did really well. It made over $70-something million. It did so well that Sony actually moved up Let There Be Carnage.
Oh,
it came back. It's going to come out in October as of right now.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay. I mean, that's bad news for us, but okay.
I mean, whatever.
Okay. I mean, they had a hard task. We're kind of wrapping it up here, but they had a hard task. They had to balance out, paying homage to Chinese culture.
Yes.
And as far as I know, in talking to reading rather, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah. But it apparently didn't play well in the Chinese market. I wonder.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to read more into that. But it did play well here, and hey, I'll take this victory.
I will too.
It's a good start for this kind of. I keep hearing some like Phase Zero comments. I'm not sure if that's a real just like, hey guys, like there is no Phase 4. Like we are introducing a bunch of new stuff.
Sure, but you can't pull from other phases and call it Phase
like
Zero.
If we're going along the same timeline, which are we?
Which we might not be, right? Because things are going to be going sideways pretty soon.
Yes.
Sooner than later. Mm-hmm. If you didn't watch WandaVision, then you're going to be really turned upside down when we get this Doctor Strange movie. I love how they're going to be. They are leaning more into the magic. Mm-hmm. And and different realms. I didn't think we'd all, as an audience, as a movie-going audience, be mature enough to handle different universes and parallel dimensions. And I'm excited to see where this takes us.
Yes,
and Shang-Chi would be one of the last ones I would expect to like be within this, but they managed to put it in there pretty good.
Yes, I think that in giving him the rings, spoilers, giving him the rings puts him in the conversation.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, what makes Shang-Chi cool is that he can be out there with his kung fu and he's still somehow useful. But if you give him the rings to use, he can be out there with Thor. And, it makes some sense. He's got some meta power now.
Yeah.
My gosh. We actually have 2 what ifs to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to spend more time on one than the other, I think. But let's talk about episode, I believe, 4, which was the Doctor Strange episode. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I can't remember exactly the title, but we had this very, dark. The what if question was, what if Doctor Strange lost his heart and not his hands, and talking about the loss of Christine Palmer, who was played and then voiced by our girl Rachel McAdams. So awesome for her to come back as Christine. And in this world, we have Doctor Strange being a better guy, it seems like. Dating Christine, and when he's on that road where he loses his hands in the movie, instead she's in the car with him and she dies.
No texting and driving.
No texting and driving.
I just got a ticket for that, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, good.
$300. Yeah. I mean, it kind of
you
bumped.
do it all
I was
the time.
texting at a light, but don't do it, kids.
Yeah.
I was texting at a red light. Regardless, I was still looking down to make a left and pop me. $300. Don't text and drive, kids.
Ouchie.
And would have been 4 points off my license if I didn't pay it within like 2 weeks.
Oh
I just paid it right there.
Yeah. Jeez.
So it went down to 2 points. So yeah, kids, don't text and drive.
Don't
anyway,
text and drive.
Back to the story.
You might drop your phone, all right?
You might drop your phone.
So yeah, it was just this interesting storyline in which she dies. He goes on this path that takes him back to Karmatage because he's looking for a way to restore his love, to change the past.
It's like, that'd be funny if they're going, the answer is in your hands. He's like, yeah, my own hands. Love.
Oh my God. Anyway, and you just had this really interesting story of him, becoming obsessed with magic to hopefully like change the past. It sounded like, still helping, save the universe and everything, but then just kind of having this idea one night where like, I have the time stone. Why can't I just go back in time? And then creating this nexus point. We see Tilda Swinton come back. Marvel's just killing it for me, man. Having her come back and saying like, hey, you can't adjust the timeline here. Like, you got to stop trying to do this. You're going to create an imbalance, blah, 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 blah. The thing that I thought was strange in the twist of this, yes, and the twist of this is that he does become powerful. He's trying to become more powerful so that he can change what she's calling a fixed point in time.
Wait a minute, this sounds like Anakin Skywalker's story.
It is some Sith stuff going on. And he's trying to absorb more power so that he can change, because basically he keeps going back in time, trying to save Christine. She keeps dying in different ways. It's very much a Final Destination, Groundhog Day type thing.
He's come to bargain.
He has come to bargain. And he's trying to absorb the power of magical creatures to like make his power bigger and stronger. Better, faster, stronger. And the Ancient One appears again. And they have this fight, and she can't stop him because he's become so powerful. So she's up like splitting him. So you have like the obsessed Doctor Strange in one timeline, and then the kind of more reasonable Doctor Strange in this other timeline that need to converge at some point to like change this fixed point in time. And it is dark. The things that he goes through to try to save Christine and ends up not being, the best thing for that universe. And there's finally a really great, he becomes so powerful, he can actually see the Watcher. He can see Uatu.
He's like, hey.
And he's like, help me fix this. And he's like, no, like you did this. Like this was, you were being selfish.
You've done this.
Yeah. You shouldn't. Like, you do it, and I'll freaking spank you. All right.
Did she end up winning because she had the high ground? I got to know.
No, she did not.
Know.
But yeah, it was just a really dark. Like, it did not end happy. It was dark in the sense of even in episode 3 where we had the Hank Pym killing all the Avengers.
Everybody, yeah.
And then, solid, great episode. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
I was having a hard time with Benedict Cumberbatch's voice though, because I've seen the Grinch a lot. And that he voiced the Grinch. And for some reason, I just kept hearing the Grinch in his voice, and it was kind of throwing me off a bit.
His heart grew 2 times as big.
Yeah. 2 times that day. 2 times. Too strange.
Too strange, man. It can't get too strange, baby.
Oh, my God. Too strange, too furious.
I wish they would have brought the Stranger in.
The Phantom Stranger?
No, you know the Stranger?
Yeah.
You know who the Stranger is, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the real Marvel.
Yeah.
He's the one with the mustache.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
But the Watcher and the Stranger, it's going to be a bad combo.
Oh, God, that doesn't sound like a great day.
Give me the Stranger
at all.
Watcher.
Oh, watch me, Stranger.
Watch me, Stranger Watcher.
But episode 5, guys.
Episode Guys
5. Marvel Zombies. I thought it was going to be later in the season. I was not expecting us to get this What If Marvel Zombies. In this, I have bias. You guys know I love and hate zombies all at the same time. This was my favorite episode of the series so far.
Oh yeah, hands down.
I thought it was so smart how they brought the zombie plague from the microverse or the quantumverse. Quantum realm. Thank you. Microverse is DC, and yeah, it just made so much sense. Like the timeline, the timing of it inside the MCU. So basically, in this episode, when they try to save Janet Van Dyne from the quantum realm, when they find her there, she is infected with the zombie plague in that realm. So when they bring her back, she starts to infect, and it just starts to spread. It starts to spread, and the biggest reason that it spreads is because the Avengers show up to try to take it out, and it gets them, and then they're able to become super spreaders, which was very much how it was in the Marvel Zombies Dead Days one shot, where I believe it's like the Sentry gets infected first.
Oh wow!
And the Sentry is like arguably the most powerful being on Earth.
Yep.
And then he just starts infecting the Avengers. Like they show up, and then that's what makes it spread, because you have these meta humans that have these superpowers, or these zombies who have superpowers. I liked how they explained it. They kind of link it into Endgame, where you have the Hulk being transported off the ship by Heimdall, but when he gets to the Sanctum Sanctorum, he's like, Thanos is coming, but Wong's not there. Strange isn't there. Tony's not there. He gets out, and he goes out, and it's very much that Walking Dead vibe. You could tell the cars have been there for a little bit.
Later,
yeah, 28 days later vibe. The cars have been there. You see the newspapers rolling. And just excellent just recapping of that scene where you have your boy, the Maw. The Maw. Yep. And the Black Dwarf come down, and they, rejoice, you're all children of Thanos.
You're going to be murdered by the children of Thanos.
Yeah, you have and then, and it's just Bruce there.
He's like, who are you going to kill?
Yeah, he's like, all right, well, I'm going to fight you. And then you see Doctor Strange's portals open up. They start, messing up the Maw and the Black Dwarf. But then it's then they start eating him, and he's like, "Whoa, isn't this overkill?" And obviously, these guys have become the Walking Dead, basically. I loved the surviving humans. It was a really great. We have Peter, we have Hope, Bucky, Okoye, Happy, which I love,
which is good. I like his shirt.
Yeah. Sharon Carter, and then now the Hulk.
Yes.
Man, I just thought it was it was spooky, man. This one was dark too. The last 3 have been so dark. And you had this very sweet, they're basically trying to they're getting a signal from this compound. The dead aren't really swarming it. They think there may be a cure there, this and that. And this one felt more so like the What If comics to me than the other ones, because you have quick setup, quick action scenes, and then a fairly quick wrap up.
Yep.
But the big turn, so they end up going to this military installation where they're getting this beacon, and they see that the dead are kind of stopped outside and they don't know what it is. They go inside this compound. It's like a medical military compound. And the Vision is there. And he's like, oh, well, I think that the Mind Stone is like scrambling them. Like it keeps them away. And while they're, and he's, man, like Paul Bettany's so good at that, as that character.
He really is.
While he's kind of explaining what's going on, you have some of the other survivors kind of like looking around. And they find this like glass cell and Wanda's in there, like a zombie Wanda. And it's like, oh, this is terrifying because she still has all of her powers. Yeah. She has the hunger. And you find out, and I love, this was such a great twist, such an excellent zombie horror film thing where like Vision's like, I wish you guys wouldn't have found my beacon. Right. Because he's been luring people there to feed Wanda. Yeah. Because he's trying to cure her. And he's working on the problem, but he has crossed the line. She ends up getting out, and it's just like, oh, you can't, like, you guys are all gonna die. Like, she is so powerful.
I mean, she's going toe to toe with the Hulk.
Yeah,
at this point,
it's bananas. And you have this like weird. Oh, Spider-Man's also one of the survivors. I can't remember if I said that.
You did, yeah, Peter. Doesn't even wear the mask.
No, yeah.
At this point, who cares?
No, yeah, who cares? But there's a great moment, and I loved like the kind of the parallels to Wanda's coming for them, and the Vision's like, hey, I'll buy you guys time. I need to atone for what I've done. And Black Panther was one of the pieces of meat that the Vision had been feeding her, which was right out of the comics, where in Marvel Zombies 1, you have Hank Pym keeping T'Challa alive, taking pieces, because like when you're a zombie in this world, all you have is the hunger. Yeah. But when you eat, there's like some what's the relief?
Yes.
So he's only able to think about the problem after he's eaten. So he's like being very disciplined by eating
when you're
T'Challa.
Doing drugs a lot, and you run out of drugs, you're going through withdrawals, and you take a little bit of it, then you can think again.
Interesting.
So for all you ex and current drug addicts,
yeah, you're stay strong, all right? You can get through the tunnel, okay? But yeah, it was so dark, but you had a Vision staying behind and saying, hey, I'm going to atone for this. And he like reaches into his own skull and pulls out the Mind Stone. And
mirroring Thanos's
pull. Mirroring Thanos's pull, gives it to Peter, and then he like dies, basically. Which I thought would have been cool if like he would have come back as it's the White Vision being a zombie version. Like, it would have been kind of funny. But yeah, it was dark. It was sad. Like they really did hit like the best parts of like what makes a good zombie movie. Totally. Good action, jump scares, but clever jump scares. They were good. When Happy's fighting him and he's got like Tony's like portable repulsor and he's just like bam, 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 bam. He's just like having fun. And they got Favreau to come back and voice.
I liked some of the things they did with the comic book. Of course, they had to change some things. You did mention one of them, and then how in the comics it was Janet who becomes just the head. Yeah. And in this one, it's
ends up being Scott.
It's Scott Lang, Ant-Man, who just becomes only a head.
And it was just all Futurama in my head. I couldn't do it, especially when he had the cape.
Yeah.
The
cape was the unsung hero at this point.
Doctor Strange's cape is also one of the survivors.
Yeah, and it saves their lives countless times.
If they don't have the cape,
they're done.
There's no survivors. Yeah, there's no survivors. But it's like it goes on to like the fishbowl that is holding Scott's head, and when he's wearing it, it looked just like from Futurama, Al Gore, and when they're on the planet on the moon, and he's got he's got a cape on his thing. It looked just like it was awesome. It was awesome. I love Futurama.
Killer show. I liked the aspect of was it Janet who becomes, she's pretty much Giant Man in this, right?
Hope
is, and not too many. We're gonna kind of like, so we talked kind of some spoilers here, and she her and Peter have some great moments.
Oh
in
God,
the show.
such good moments.
And honestly, I think Spider-Man is the star of this.
Yeah,
he is the one that the audience is supposed to identify with, and just how she tells him to keep smiling.
Our first mention of Uncle Ben in the MCU.
Very true.
Yeah.
And I don't want to tell you what happens with Hope, but it's very sad. But she does give Peter an awesome message.
Yeah.
And, And in Crisis, it's true.
Yeah.
It's all we can do. Man.
Yeah.
It's just hope and smile.
Yeah.
That's about all we can do. And it tugs at the heartstrings. It's got, like I said, good action, very scary. I like Okoye's quote in there. It's like, we don't have horror movies. We have American reality TV for that.
Yeah. And,
Best quote in there.
And I love how they brought in like Peter's love of movies. He's like, when Okoye is like, oh, we gotta split up. He's like, whoa, like we gotta stay together. Like we can't not. Yeah, it's like this is exactly what's gonna happen. Cardio, boys, cardio. It was my favorite episode of the season. I am biased.
But it's just, and I'm not too biased, and it is the best episode of the season so far.
Somebody on Instagram posted somebody else's like, oh, Marvel misses the mark.
Of course.
Blah, blah, blah. And it like prompted me to write a very spoiler-free, so sorry, you guys could have read that on my, at Roman REC podcast. But I loved it, guys. I loved it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It feels like, where do they go from here? Because I think we got at least 2 more episodes left. So, we'll see what happens.
I think it's gonna, I'm loving the fact that these last few, actually most of them are dealing with the act of love. And how if loving somebody or someone changes things vastly.
Yeah,
Vision's love for Wanda causes him to feed her innocent people. Doctor Strange's love for her, Christine, has him alter timelines.
Hope's love for her mother
right.
has her do something without thinking of the consequences.
Right. See?
Hank's love for Hope causes him to kill the Avengers. That is very interesting.
And I think it's a running theme through.
Yeah. Peggy's love for Steve,
right?
And democracy,
sure.
Wow, dude, that's really interesting. I postulate this. I think that they're testing the waters with how dark they can do things with this show.
Sure.
Because this is darker. These 3 episodes have been darker than anything we've seen in the MCU.
Hands freaking down.
I wonder if we get a Deadpool cameo.
That'd be funny. I'd be cool with it.
Like, our first Deadpool cameo is in What If?
Sure, why not? It'd be perfect. It'd be a perfect way to put him in there.
Totally. It works.
It works. And it's kind of consequence-free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right there.
It works,
Yeah.
I would really... And also, I think, like you said, we're going into darker regions because, as you know, we're getting X-Men. X-Men, a lot darker than the Avengers.
Yes.
As far as tone.
Yes.
So maybe they're like, okay, how dark can we get with this? You know?
Yeah.
I'm with you. Best episode of the season. Whoever said they missed the mark, you're a freaking moron.
Yeah.
So sorry to say, but you are. You're stupid.
Yeah.
Taste
is subjective, but to be so like, oh, Marvel missed it. It's like, what?
Yeah, excuse me? And
what were you expecting when you saw? Because I was expecting something when I saw the zombies in the teaser, and I got something.
I didn't think I was gonna get this.
No,
I loved it,
especially the WandaVision thing, and it's great. It's brilliant because everybody's been. If you're watching What If, you definitely watch WandaVision,
of course.
And I'd say 90+% of the people loved WandaVision, so you love those characters. So you absolutely understand why Vision did what he did.
Right.
And I loved how you timing wise, you're like, oh. They haven't been together yet.
No.
Like they haven't been a couple yet. Oh no, they would have just been a couple because it would have been right before Infinity War.
Right. So they're still in their honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
So he really loves.
Yeah, this is
it was love at first sight.
This is post Accords. They've been. But maybe they didn't get a chance to figure out exactly what it was. Because his kind of like, I don't know why I'm doing this. He even says that.
Because, he doesn't know what the...
But we know because we've seen all the other stuff. Yeah. And that's what... this show is brilliant.
Well, we also know because we've also seen that person where we and you've had interactions with that one person. You're like, wow, I love you.
Yeah.
And and what would you... And that's what all these shows are asking. So what would you do for the one you loved? Would you destroy a universe for one person? And if you love them that much... Does everybody else's love not matter?
I did not pick up on the love thing until you said it. And it's like, wow.
Another layer.
It's another layer to the show, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, man. You just blew my mind. You blew my mind, and I was already blown.
He was already blown, baby.
Yeah. All right, kiddos, that's our show for today. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment below. What have you been
Scott
thinking
Lang
about?
cameo.
A la Scott Lang. Oh, and a Groot. That would have been
Groot,
dope. You know,
yay.
oh, it would have been hilarious to see a zombie.
Zombie Groot? Oh, man.
Or zombie rocket.
Zombie
Oh.
rocket?
But if you like what we're doing, hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think about the what ifs. I'd be very curious to see. Did you guys make that kind of love connection here that Eric did? You see what I did? Because that just made this all the better for me.
Oh, good.
Eric, do you have any final thoughts for us today?
So, love is hard, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you're, dead.
Love stinks.
Love hurts and stinks.
Yeah, especially when you're dead.
Especially when you're dead.
All right, kids, that's our show. Thank you for listening.
Love will tear us apart. Oh, dang it, I missed it. That's a Joy Division song. That should have been it.
And
Oh, I missed it.
love will keep us together.
And that's the other one.
There it is. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Roman Chavez.
I am still Eric Icarus.
And we will catch you on the next podcast.
Peace out, y'all.